Welcome to Kids Recall. In today's video, we will be going through the 2019 movie Whitesnake. It's time to recall. Let's get started. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The movie starts and we see a girl who's alone in a cave. She's thinking about something and then suddenly she imagines herself in a different world where she's all alone. She is floating and there are rose petals floating around her too. She is delighted to see the beautiful rose petals, and this is when something really bad happens and those rose petals turn into smoke. As she looks on, the rose petals turn into a rope, which ends up tying her up. The girl then starts to panic and comes out of her imagination. The scene then changes, and we see that the girl is in her sister's arms, who goes on to tell her to calm down, adding that she's safe. We go on to learn that this girl wants to achieve immortality. Her sister tells her that everything is going to be all right, but the girl is upset because she's not been able to achieve her goals. Her sisters then give her a pen, telling her that the pen has always belonged to her, but she has never given it to her sister. But now is the time to give the pen to the girl in the cave. Just as the girl touches the pen, a light comes out of it, and the scene changes to 500 years ago. We then go on to learn that these girls are actually snakes, and they used to assassinate people. One in the white dress is called Blanca, and she is the more cunning one. Blanca has to assassinate the general, so she pretends to be a servant after wearing a servant's dress and right away makes her way to the general's room. The general is inside, but there is no way she can get to the room. She then goes on to make a hole in the wall through which she sees the general standing inside his room, surrounded by his snakes. Blanca goes on to throw her pen toward the general, but the general spots it coming toward him and stops the pen with his powers. The general spots Blanca as well. He goes on to send his soldiers to catch her, and this is when a fight begins between Blanca and the soldiers. There is a lake at the backside of the palace, and the general goes on to tell his soldiers to push her there. They push her back, and she falls into the lake, and this is when we again see her waking up. She does not understand what's going on. It could either be her imagination or she actually fell into the lake and went unconscious after that. She looks around her and sees that the room she's in seems like an old one. There is no one in the room, and the room is covered from all sides. There is no way she can look outside. She then hears someone coming and tries to play it cool. It turns out to be an old woman who's really nice to her and goes on to ask Blanca what is her name. Blanca, however, does not remember anything from her past and goes on to tell the old woman that she does not know her name. And then they start talking, and the woman tells her that their village is called the Village of Snake Catchers, because all of them catch snakes. The people of the village give the general the snakes after killing them, and the general in return does not take the taxes from them. And that is how the villagers have been having a better life. They, however, have no idea why the general likes the dead snakes so much. They tried to figure it out, but still have not been able to come up with an answer. Turns out that the general wants to extract all the venom out of the snakes to create a demon, which is going to help him achieve immortality. When he becomes immortal, his next target is to become the most powerful man in the world. The old woman is really nice to Blanca and goes on to offer her to show her around the village. Blanca goes out with the woman, but when she's out there, she starts hearing noises. These noises are the snakes around the village. Since Blanca herself is a white snake, she understands their language and thinks that these snakes might be calling for help. The door of the village are closed before the evening falls, and this is when we see a boy named Juan, who happens to be different from all the other people in the village. His mindset is different, and he has no interest in killing snakes for the general. He then comes to Blanca and the old woman, where the old woman goes on to tell him that Blanca is from their village, but she has lost her memory. This is how we learn that Juan is actually the one who brought Blanca, the white snake, to the village, but Blanca doesn't remember anything at all. Later on, they go for a walk, and Juan's pet dog is also with them. The pet dog says that he is going to show them the direction to a shortcut, but ends up falling in a ditch. Blanca's instinct hits her and she jumps into the ditch right away before the dog falls. She catches it and then flies out of the cage. Even she is shocked at the revelation that she can fly. Blanca then makes her way to the waterfall, from where Juan has found her before. When she looks at the waterfall, she sees a vision. She sees that she was pushed into the water by soldiers, and this is how she starts remembering things. She feels like this place is connected to some other place. Just as she tries to think hard, Juan comes from behind and puts his hand on her shoulder. She shoves him away, and he falls a great distance. Juan then starts flying and grabs Blanca's hand, and both of them start flying together. As they fly on, they get to a place where there is a forest, and in that forest, there are a lot of snakes. The snakes then go on to attack them, but Blanca again shows how brave and skillful she is and fights off the snakes with ease. The scene then changes to a cave, where we see the snake master, and there is a lot of snakes there too. This snake is the one that just got attacked by Blanca, and he tells the snake master that Blanca is currently with a boy who happens to be a snake catcher. Snake master is angry at this, because a snake should not be friends with the snake catchers. The snake master then goes on to ask who will bring Blanca to her, and Blanca's sister, wearing a green dress, comes forward and volunteers to find Blanca. The snake master then throws a death scale at her and tells her if she is unable to find her sister within the next 3 days, she will die of these death scales. On the other hand, Blanca and Juan keep moving forward, and they find the jade hairpin, which brings back some memories, when it is then revealed that the hairpin too is magical. Juan reads the inscription, which indicates it was made at a special jade workshop. He and Blanca go journey there together and get to learn a little about Blanca and her past. Juan says that the people at that might be able to give them some valuable information. This is when we see that General's assistant is in the village and looking for Blanca. Juan right away takes Blanca away from there to help her hide somewhere safe. Juan and Blanca later on go to a boat to make their way to the shop. But just as they're rowing on, a demon snake appears. He's too powerful and tries to kill Blanca. Blanca at first gets scared, but after a few attacks, her instinct helps her get into her true form, and she gets into her snake form after a long time. The two snakes fight, and it turns out that Blanca is a really powerful snake, as she easily defeats the demon snake. When Blanca is done fighting, she gets really weak and lies on the boat. She then gets up and asks Juan if he would still want to be with her because he has now seen her true self. She tells him that she too is a demon. Juan, however, goes on to say that if something were to happen to him, it would have happened by now. He says that he's going to stay by her side, and both of them then go to the shop. The shop owner is a girl who has two faces. One is of a fox and the other is a human face. They then go on to show the girl the jade pen. She looks at the pen and then at Blanca. She again takes a close look at both of them and goes on to tell them that this hairpin does not actually belong to Blanca since forever. She says that the hairpin was made by someone else, but Blanca came in last year with it and got the hairpin in her name. Juan then goes on to ask who is the real owner, and the girl at the shop says that she can only give them a hint. The fox demon also goes on to explain that Blanca was warned about using the jade wand and that it could have consequences, such as memory loss. The fox demon then goes on to give them a scale that has been made with the skin of a snake. The shopkeeper tells them that by using this scale, they can find the actual owner of the pen. Juan takes the scale and both of them make their way to the forest to look for the owner. While looking at a Taoist altar in the temple, Blanca's sister, who has been looking for her, shows up. The two sisters get into a fight, and as her sister calls her by her name, and Blanca is shocked when she learns that the girl knows her name too. And this triggers some memories, and she remembers that the other girl is her sister. The sisters hug, and then Blanca is scolded by her sister for being friends with a human. She says that Juan is a snake hunter and that he's going to kill her when he gets a chance. This is when Blanca is attacked by a bat sent by the general. Blanca's sister thinks that Juan is the one behind the attack and goes on to confront him. Juan is bewildered, and he asks why on earth would he attack Blanca? Juan says that he's the one who's been keeping Blanca safe, and he doesn't deserve this crap. Juan and Blanca go into a basement, but when her sister tries to follow them, the gate shuts from inside. Blanca is attacked by an eagle that does not let go of her for a long time. Juan again goes on to save Blanca, and then comes across another gate called the Gate of Light. The two then enter this gate. It turns out that there was a time when exorcism was performed in this very room. Juan tells Blanca to stay there, while he finds a way out of the place. When Blanca is in there, she begins to have some flashbacks, and now she is sure that she's a demon. She tells Juan, who says that she's a good girl, and even if she is a snake, she would not worry because she's not evil. Since Blanca's memories are triggered, she is shaken by the events and Juan confronts her. This leads to a moment of intimacy between them. They start kissing. She takes off her robe and they fall to the floor kissing. Afterward, Juan and Blanca leave the temple to find Verta waiting. Blanca reveals that her memories have been returned and says she will return to the snake demon fold. She says to Juan that their differences are too great. He asks her to wait for him and leaves to find a way for them to be together. Blanca then leaves with her sister, and when they have the time to catch up on each other's lives, Blanca touches her sister and says that death scales are in her body. She is shocked to see this and berates her for not telling her about them earlier. Later at the Fox Demon workshop, Juan agrees to become a low-level demon in order to be with Blanca. Workshop Mistress does turn him into a demon with a dog's tail, but warns that Juan will be one of the weakest kind and will never grow stronger, and that humans will likely kill him on sight. In the meantime, the Dark General's second-in-command attempts to capture Blanca for his master and nearly succeeds. Out of desperation, Blanca uses the magic wand again, absorbing the Taoist powers and turning it into her giant demon form. Knowing that the general will now march into the snake catcher village where the snakes are hiding, she intends to kill him there. Fighting through his forts and armies, Juan barely catches up with her, but Blanca does not need his call to stop. Verta, her sister, then warns Juan that in the battle to come, a demon now too, he will have to choose a side. Juan tries to warn the village, but the snake catchers now see him as a demon and don't listen. The Dark General arrives, eager to conquer the snakes, but hearing of Blanca's acquired power allows Juan one final attempt to talk to her. Juan confesses his love to Blanca and offers her to escape to the lands beyond. Living together and without any more humans or wars, she almost subsides. But in the last moment, the Dark General's magical trap binds them both to the ground. Dark General intends to harvest their essence, as he has found the secret of immortality. His work is consuming the spirits of demons, making them unable to reincarnate, hence prolonging his own life and fueling his magic. Verta manages to trick the general into absorbing her soul first, which also transfers the cursed death scales onto him. This distracts the general long enough for the snake master to join the battle, and for snakes to bind the general's soldiers in combat. Eventually, Blanca, Juan, Verta, and the snake master defeat the general. However, seeing how much power the Taoist magic can offer, the snake master uses it to absorb the spirits of her own army and become the most powerful demon in existence, then attempting to kill Blanca and Verta for betrayal. Juan tricks the snake master by luring her into the general's magical trap, now binding her as the magic saps her soul away. With her strength almost gone and no way out of the trap, Blanca uses the jade wand one last time, saving Juan's spirit and memories in it, and escaping with Verta. In the present, 500 years later, Blanca and Verta, now remembering the story, decide to go out of their cave and search for Juan's reincarnation, so that he and Blanca can finally be together again. Many years later, a human sees the two sisters at the port. And when Blanca accidentally drops the jade hairpin, picks it up and introduces himself, causing Blanca to recognize him as Juan's reincarnation. With them reuniting, the movie comes to an end. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. And thank you for watching.